Hello everyone, today we have a Thanos Zoo. So the last time I featured Thanos, it was Thanos Control, and that has been what's been really popular lately. And the question was posed to me, is Thanos good in any other shells? Are any of his other shells viable? And I think he has several decent ones. We have the Thanos Death, which is pretty decent. It can get through a lot of your cards. It can be a little bit less consistent than just an all-out death package. We have the Control Heavy build, which we've all seen everywhere. We have the lockjaw rotation, which people have been experimenting with. I know the Human Spider has been doing some phenomenal things in the tournament scene with a lockjaw rotation Thanos list. And then we have Thanos Zoo. Thanos Zoo, to me, has always felt like it had potential, but it also felt like it just wasn't quite enough a lot of times. However, I think this version, I found a version that merges those two ideals pretty well between control and just flood. And we're going to be able to do a lot of things to either disrupt the opponent to get power over what the opponent does, or just offset their big power plays with something like a Valkyrie. So this version is going to run Jean Grey, Professor X, and potentially an armor or super scroll for your control levers or control mechanisms. The Jean Grey, certain decks, it just completely derails them. Other ones that run like Kitty Pryde, it doesn't do as much against, but there's certain matches where it's just going to win you the game. We have Professor X, which the same thing. If you can get that down and you stop a Nimrod from being destroyed, huge tempo swing in your favor. Plus, you can always buff it after the fact with a Spectrum, a Khazar, or whatever else may be needed to find a way to win. We have the armor to stop those destruction triggers, and it's just good to be able to play into things like Altar of Death and just stop like the Deadpool destruction. All of the destruction that we've been seeing, armor helps protect it, and it helps protect our one-cost cards, which we're not running the Cosmo, and since we are a little bit susceptible to Killmonger, it helps kind of protect those lanes until we can get one that is a surefire lock-in win. And so outside of that, we have the Super Scroll, so if the opponent has ongoing abilities, we can copy those and get as much benefit from them as they do. A lot of times, we have just an overall buff package. Spectrum is not going to be something that we use every game, but when we do need to use it, it's probably going to surprise the opponent and give us 8 cubes at a time. Being able to get a locked out lane and push it just a little bit further is so advantageous when the opponent is not anticipating it. And so we are going to be jumping into a couple of games. But before we do, I had the absolute worst time recording this. The deck itself I have been loving. But last night we brewed for Lady Deathstrike. It just didn't work out. She was very clunky. And then this morning I recorded for this deck. And for some reason, my mic decided to go all super grainy. So they have the Arnold Zola that was free. I didn't notice until I started editing. I just couldn't release it as that. And then we jumped in to try and do another record. I got a phone call for work while it was happening. And so I roped 3 turns, and then the opponent decided to rope us for the rest of the next 3 rounds, taking 20 minutes before I decided to concede at the end of round 2. Just a really rough recording session. But the deck itself, I am so happy to be able to finally bring to you guys. We're going to jump into a couple games. If you're not currently subscribed, but you're enjoying the content, you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you guys here. We're having a record-breaking month, and I'd love to continue that trend, if at all possible. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. I hope you guys enjoy. We are going to snap, since we are in such a commanding position. Now, they are running what looks like a junk deck. A very scary, like a junk, maybe She-Hulk Infinite junk deck. So we have to be careful of flooding the board too early or too quickly. Let's do Reality Stone. I don't think they're going to have any ongoing cards. So I think the Reality Stone doing something like an Iron Man into the Onslaught Citadel could be big enough to win us that location. And then we're just looking to, I mean, even a Blue Marvel over there, a Khazar. If they end up doing like a Debris, could be that winning line for us. Mojo over there is decent, but I don't think they're going to cap it out. They might, but I just don't feel like they're going to. We could do Mojo. We could also do the Blue Marvel over there. We know they have the Enchantress line, so we have to look out for that possibility. So because of that, I think we're going to do Mojo into mid and try and split our ongoings. Even though the Onslaught Citadel is there, I think we split our ongoing abilities so that they can't have an easy Enchantress lane. All right, so they have the hood. I assume they go Viper here. Let's do something like, I guess, armor. If they have the Enchantress line, that becomes really difficult for us to win the Nexus location. We also have already used our Reality Stone, so we can't change the Nexus. That is now set in stone. The Valkyrie could be fine. Ooh, the Valkyrie could be really fine. if we get some kind of way to buff it up like Blue Marvel, so Blue Marvel here. Yeah, Blue Marvel here to make sure that we don't have initiative. I think as long as we don't have initiative going to the last turn, Blue Marvel is going to bring this up over. We can do Space Stone plus Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie is going to be the MVP of this game. I don't think they have ongoings, but I am just going to throw Super Scroll on the board just for the giggles. Okay, so they change it with magic. It now extends the game. They send us Titania, but that's not enough to completely cap us out there, and I think we're okay with that. So we now no longer need to fully focus on this lane over here. I think we do Blue Marvel. Yeah, Blue Marvel, and then we see if they do a Debris. Whew, Debris would be massive here at completely capping out these two lanes, right? We're just gonna hope that they don't have Enchantress, or that they're not able to find a way to use it if they do. Okay, so the double drop, they are gonna send. I mean, they could do what, a Green Goblin now? No, they go ahead and pop the Enchantress, which is the thing we were worried about the absolute most. They do the Demon, so they send Titania back our way. We could cap them out now. We can do an Uno reverse and say, sorry about you. We know that you're going to be completely capped in this lane. But we have the Soul Stone. We have the Blue Marvel, which they can't counter anymore, which becomes really difficult for them to win. I think we go ahead and do... It's not the last turn, but I think we go ahead and do Ant-Man. We can do an Iron Man. That's going to allow us... Or... We can do Ant-Man. Go ahead and do Valkyrie. That's going to cap them out here. All we have to do is do like an Iron Man plus maybe a Soul Stone over here. And they'll have to fight for all three locations to find ways to win. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and do the Uno reverse with their own Titania, giving us the benefit of the doubt. All we have to do is get like a Soul Stone there. And I think the +2 and then the -4 would be enough. So the Soul Stone, we go Iron Man, and go ahead and go Time Stone as well. That's going to be a huge lead. They did skip, so like an Infinite and a She-Hulk could be possible. But I think we have enough advantage that it's fine. And so the Iron Man is going to be big in this left lane, especially after the Time Stone, the double buff of the Blue Marvel. It's going to be really hard to overcome. They do swing the middle location, but they are not able to swing the left lane after the Enchantress came down preemptively. Thankfully, we have the Space Stone, which is decent. That starts our draw a little bit early. We have Mojo to lean in on, and so we'll kind of play it from there. We'll go from there, and we'll see. So the Icebox does hit our armor, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I don't think it's a critical card for us. We can do Jean Grey into the Mojo lane, giving us a little bit more room or potential to win that location. And so the Jeff does come down. But I think we're all right for the most part. We could do... I mean, Mystique's not bad from Camp Lehi. We can do Mind Stone here to get some of our additional stones, but I think we go ahead and start with Jean Grey. We know that we're going to be locking in this left lane, so probably leaning towards... I don't know, probably leaning towards something like Armor. They have the Jeff and the Zabu. So I think we are going to snap on this one. We can snap, we can do something like a Mind Stone, and next turn we can play Blue Marvel into either a Valkyrie, a Spectrum. Maybe we do a Mystique to copy the Blue Marvel to buff up this left lane even further. They snap back on us. I'm thinking they're running either like the Legion deck, or they're running maybe the movement heavy deck. So maybe it's running the Craven, the Silk. But I think we're okay capping them and forcing them to play in the left lane every single turn. Actually, just one turn. It's just one turn, you guys. They only play in the left lane one turn. And so they do now have the freedom to play wherever they want. But I think we get some benefit. The Blue Marvel is fine. Spectrum's not going to be the line because it won't buff these up anymore. But we can do Mystique into like a Soul Stone, Mystique into Ant-Man, play a little bit for mid, a little bit for right. And we'll be able to continue to buff that left lane, which I think is going to be really important. So they have the Korg, they have the Rock Slide, all black and white. They have played the Hawk package, I want to say entirely too much. It's impressive, the dedication, though. We're going to do something like this. We still have 9 cards in our deck, so if they have the Hawk and a Mystique, which is less common now, but if they have both of those, Very, very bad day for us. But we're going to do the Mystique to copy the Blue Marvel. And I think that might be a little bit of extra surprise reach that they're not anticipating to give us a way to win. That's what we're hoping for. Getting the extra 4 in the left lane could be really surprising. Plus, we get a decent bump in mid. I actually didn't do the calculations if this wins or not. So Mystique is going to be 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ooh, it could win by 1. So they play in the left lane and the right lane. Or they play in the left lane and the right lane. They move their Jeff over to the left lane. Hopefully we get just enough extra reach that they're not anticipating with that Mystique, that we can win that lane, and that the Hawk is in Camp Lehi and not over in the left lane. So Iron Lad comes down. Depending on what it hits the Black Bolt. The Black Bolt is not quite going to be enough, my friend. We are going to take the quick and easy 8-cube victory, courtesy of the Camp Lehi resource. Those are always the most frustrating whenever an RNG element is what causes you to lose. Let's go ahead and take it, and we'll jump over into the next one. All right, so next up we have the Nexus as our first location. Getting a Professor X early there would be pretty cool. Let's go Soulstone first. We're going to go through some of our draw. We know that they have Enchantress. All right, so they skip out of that one. They do retreat. Marobaro, always a pleasure.